Thank God we're getting rid of 20. Wow, what a 356 days it's been. Although allegedly 85 of those were all right, weren't they? Because we weren't really sure up until March the 20th. A huge day for me. And WTMG is an acrostic where the magic goes. You'll see that top left-hand corner of the notepad document that's taking up the whole of the screen, apart from me. Apologies for that. But you know what? Sometimes you've got to have the rough with the smooth. 9 days till 2021. So I thought today would be a radical departure from focusing on the top 100 cloud companies and their websites for website rewrite. And I thought we'd do something a little bit different to the advertised schedule and actually sort of rewrite a website that doesn't even exist yet, using content that isn't necessarily even just textual. Video. I don't know where this is going to go, but this is almost a riff. So I've talked to you throughout these recent videos about how I am obsessed with finding out how people who are rather good at what they do what they do. And so I wanted to do that today, unshackled from other people's work, because, you know, as we get into next year, we are all going to have to really start pulling up our socks and figuring out how to work harder, smarter with our websites, what the content looks like that our customers need, because, you know, the competition's not going away. The competition ain't as smart as you are, but they're still going to be there gnawing away at your cheese. Struggling a little bit here with the metaphors and analogies, but bear with me, it will all make sense in the wash. Right, so what I wanted to do today was just talk about the three foundational elements of essential content creating conversions quicker among your customers, because that's the tagline, that's the elevator pitch, isn't it? And there's three very simple elements of what it takes to do that. So it is the persuasion and conviction. Now, I'm not suggesting that you jail your customers. That would be slightly extreme. Conviction is all about convincing, because there is a grey line, a murky line between persuading and convincing, and they could be arguably seen as within the same chasm, but actually I think they're quite different, because persuasion is all about sort of bringing people in and showing them why, and then the conviction is all about doing the deal. It's like, okay, so it's like that whole sort of 4 chapters of the marketing funnel, isn't it? The attention, the interest, the desire, and the action. Another acrostic, ADA for short, which is also the name of a cruise line for German people. I don't suppose it's doing an awful lot of business these days, so we can gloss over that. Persuasion and conviction. There's reassurance as well, which is a massive, and do you know what? Because it's Christmas, I'm going to spell it right. Reassurance. So, more than ever these days, people are freaking out, aren't they? They're just like throwing themselves into the streets. There's chaos, there's trams, there's buses, there's automobiles, there's all sorts of stuff going on. And people just literally don't know where to turn to. And it doesn't matter if you're running a hotel or a haberdashery. People want to know why to shop with you. And if you can give them various layers of guarantee, just the fact that you've been around for 50 years, or maybe you've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, or whatever it is, there's so many different ways that you can persuade reassuringly. So combining those two tenets to make it valuable. So your content needs to ultimately pander to reassure, to convince, to persuade, all of these great things. And the third thing, and I've mentioned this on LinkedIn recently, I think it's really important, is you need to obsess about your customers' needs. Right, I cannot overstate this, because if you don't get this right, nothing else really matters, does it? You need to remember as well that you are, I'm just getting rid of this because I know there's a new video call features my PC and I don't really care. Goodbye. Right, so if for whatever reason you don't have a lot of customers right now, or if for whatever reason you don't have enough research right now about your customers, then you can actually ask yourself as customer number one, what is it about what you do? And by the way, yeah, sorry about this, shrunk my jumper. You get to see a bit of skin, so everybody wins. What really is it about your service or product, where is the sweet spot? Where is that point in the Venn diagram where what you offer meets and exceeds the expectations of your customer? And what indeed are those expectations, and what are those needs? So if I'm a hotel, because I work in Blackpool, all right? So if I'm a hotel, what typically do people want from a hotel? Who typically are the customers for a hotel? So, I mean, straight away, this holiday makers, not an awful lot of those knocking around these days, but, you get what you can. There are business people, and there are people who are visiting family and friends. Now, if you look at those three different categories, and that's the purest sense, each one of those personas has very different needs. Family and friends are all looking for proximity, or quite the opposite, pretending that they're close to family and friends, but far enough away that you can't just slip out and see them, late one evening, so you want that bit of distance. So you can play sort of tongue-in-cheek on that, can't you, and say, yeah, we're close but not that close. That's great. So family and friends are going to want things like a bed for the night and good transport links, arguably, if they're coming in on the train, the Pendolino to Blackpool North, or it might be that you're looking for some nice spaces where you can socially distance with your family who live nearby, or holidaymakers, this is a totally different kettle of fish, isn't it? So holidaymakers, they're looking for a lovely experience. They're looking for the hotel could theoretically be the centre of their experience. So they might be looking for plush surroundings, they might be looking for exquisite food, they might be looking for a sense that you've got every single one of their indulgent needs covered. So, having a chat with the very, very clean breakfast chef, and the breakfast chef's talking about all these great different recipes he's been trying and what sets your hotel apart from the rest in the food sense. And equally, people are absolutely obsessed these days, thinking Reassurance, totally obsessed about clean bedding, about the fact that you are meticulous in your attention to hygiene, more so than ever before. Multiple layers. I look at hotel websites and they ain't even got close to this. Business people, convenience, right? So they want some way to come to your hotel, to book. It needs to be a 5-second job. If they've got a business travel team, then equally commission incentives, things that you can do to make their lives easier because they're booking on behalf of a colleague, so therefore they want your support. So there's different ways that you can make the edge there. We looked a couple of days ago at stripe.com and how they could put an interface on the homepage that could sort of get some bits and pieces of data from you, and in return they could provide some sort of value. That could work really well here if you're a hotel that's providing and you can be very specific as well on your hotel website for business people. You can have a dedicated page for businesses that could give you all the information that you needed about whether you offer meeting facilities, whether you've got a business concierge, for example, so somebody who can book meetings for you with prospective clients. Maybe you're in the region and you're doing a sales tour. There's so many different things you can do, and ultimately this is where Jerry McGovern's top tasks comes in hand, doesn't it? So if you've already got customers, and going back to that third tenet now about religiously, obsessively focusing on the needs of your customer base, this is where you could reach out to them if you've already got them on a newsletter, because newsletters are so important. Newsletters for hotels are silver bullets for me, because that's the way that you can stand out and always be front of mind. It's incredibly valuable. Let's just put that down here, just so that you've got a memory. Do you know what? I mean, I would be happy at some point to share these streams of consciousness with you. So if you do want to find out more, at Dave Thackeray, me on Twitter, or email me dave.c.thackeray@gmail.com. That's fine. Or find me on LinkedIn. Newsletters are massive, especially if you're in the hospitality sector. If you're in any sector, newsletters are gold. If you, sorry, won't sniff again, it's repulsive. If you are wanting to be daring and exciting and extravagant, you might want to take a look into progressive web applications, which are an alternative to newsletters, where people can click to be notified when you are making changes to your website, or you've got announcements to make, and through their browser you can then connect with them and tell them about some great stuff relating to your brand that they might need to know. you can always use that in tandem with, and it's PWA, I've checked that out. You can have a look on smashingmagazine.com. They've got lots of information about how to build a progressive web application. PWA is what they're known as: service workers, instant notifications. It's great. And also, let's not forget, they work offline, so that even if your customer has not got internet access, they can still browse the application. It's been loaded up into your phone or your computer. And what's the other thing I was going to mention? Yes, you can have a little icon, very easy to, because it's an app, right? So you can have an icon on your phone home screen. That's when you get a lot more deeply entrenched with your customers, build relationships, get excited with them. Amazing. The new frontier, it's already well established. Lots and lots of companies aren't using them. So if you want to get relatively first mover advantage among your competition, this could be something to explore. And again, it lets you get closer to your customers, because that, at the end of the day, is what it's all about. Unless you're a one-trick pony and you just want to quickly give them something and then run away into the darkness behind, then you want to maintain relationships with your customers. Brilliant. So there's so all right, hotels, homepage, what do you want? Okay, so think about the timing. This is why it's so important now to have a flexible content management system that allows you to build and change and tweak as you go. And if you haven't got the expertise in-house to do that, and really these days, if you've got somebody vaguely tech savvy and you've built your website right, then it shouldn't be a stretch to update your homepage to move with the times. But if you can't, speak to the agency who developed it and develop some sort of relationship so that you can say, okay, I want my homepage to look slightly different once a month. I also want to have a quarterly refresh to move with the seasons. Very pertinent now, especially with COVID. So if you're hotels and you're open, you can offer a service to people who need to be in the area. Not so good if you're tier 4 because you're shot, but if you're tier 3 or better, then you obviously have that facility to pander to business workers. So again, one of those personas, one of those audiences. What you offer and how you offer it will have changed. So whereas before it might have been about blue skies and enjoy the sunshine, now it's a lot more about here's how we make your stay safe. And also focusing on the flourish and the finish as well, because you're still a hotel, you're still a luxury to a point, so you need to be not only giving reassurance but also giving an appetite, excitement about staying with you. So sure, if you're able to offer a food experience safely that is still quite exotic, quite enticing, then do sell that, because people don't, it's that whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs, isn't it? Once you've got their basic needs met, start layering up and start showing them how you actually really show off, but in safe mode. Really good. So okay, that's sort of that's the way that I would focus on hotels. Let's take another industry. Let's take the dry world of insurance. All right, so insurance is a great example of where a lot of people would go, oh God, that's boring. Well, I remember a few years ago, and I've told this story, and it's apocryphal, where I worked with a winter sports insurance company, and they were like, I don't know what to do, because all we do is sell insurance. How can I possibly do anything online? And this is a bit like the sales line, Marcus Sheridan, his approach to selling pools, right? It's like finding out what all people's questions are relating to what you sell, and then not only answering them, but actually going a little bit further and thinking, okay, well, how can I be a resource? How can I be valuable beyond the premium, beyond me selling you a policy? And what I did with, and this was a good few years ago now, what I did with this winter sports insurance company was actually create a forum for people who love snowboarding and skiing and visiting all these sort of chilly climes between November and April. And we were able to answer questions. It was a bit like Thorntree from Lonely Planet, that kind of thing, where we quickly built an audience because we had a baked-in audience of people who bought policies from us. So straight away, because we knew they were interested in winter sports, we were able to bring them back to the forums. And because we were able to bring them to the forums and we had experts in winter sports working at this company, not only were people sharing experiences and details of their adventures and tips, tricks and tactics among the community, but we were actually going in as experts to offer different perspectives. It was brilliant, and that really at the end of the day is what it's all about. It's like, don't just think about the product, think about the value that you can offer beyond the product. So if you're insurance, State Farm's a great example in the financial insurance sector, where they offer workshops and classes, and especially now where everything's about Zoom and Teams and all these great new sort of interactive web conferencing facilities, that you can actually do that, right? I mean, this is so easy. So go and check out, I mean, Zoom, especially over Christmas now, they've removed the 40-minute limit, and I don't expect there'll be a lot of people over Christmas who want to come and hang out with your brand for an hour. But if you've got something important to say, then why the heck not say it? And offer that opportunity. Get on your Facebook page, shout about it, get on LinkedIn, talk to your B2B customers, talk to your clients, and find out this is the bit right. So when lockdown started, myself and the college used this as an opportunity to speak to people who typically we found hard to get hold of. So in this way, we were able to get these people, because we knew they'd be at home, and we spoke to them and we asked them questions and we did some research, and we invited people in to be visiting lecturers delivering their presentation over Teams. Brilliant. How often do you get the chance to do this? There are people who have capitalised golden opportunities. Online retailers are having salad days right now, because where else do you get your shiz from? Okay. So don't be afraid to break the mold. Don't be afraid to experiment. For example, let me just move this out of the way so you can see it a little bit better. Google Optimize is also another great tool that you can use. So this is like A/B multivariate testing. This is an example of. So if you've got a homepage and you've got a few different expressions of the homepage and you want to see which one works best, you can use Google Optimize to serve up those 3 different versions of the page to 3 different audiences. You can split it down the middle, 33%, 33%, 34%. I'm good at maths. And then you can see which one gained the most traction, which one led to the most conversions. Google Optimize is completely free. Part of Google Marketing Suite. You cannot go wrong with it. Implement it as part of Google Tag Manager. Fabulous. And then you can track obviously the results using Google Analytics and also Google Data Studio to present reports to people who need to know this sort of stuff to make informed decisions for your company. Website rewrite from word and mouth is not just about written content. This is about taking your website in the entirety and looking at ways that you can spruce it up, radically improve it to get closer to customers. And it's ultimately about making quicker conversions. So there's lots and lots of ways of doing these things. Your mileage may vary. YMMV. Remember that, it's an acronym, or if you list it downwards like a poem, it could also be an acrostic. So that's nice. Okay, so you've covered insurance, we've covered hotels. What about a construction firm? What would a construction firm do? So how would you build your future? All right, so okay, so if you are a home improvement company and you're wanting to get started in the new year, right? Okay, so I mean, this new year, new you, this is trotted out with a monotonous regularity, but you know, people are looking for sanity in these uncertain times. People are investing big time. People are also buying houses like crazy. I'm just in the process now of buying a house myself, and the prices have just shot up because this psychological mind, well, it's psychological, isn't it? These challenges, this thing from the government that said, okay, we'll strip stamp duty away. You don't have to pay stamp duty now if you buy a house. Just buy a house. And everybody's like, okay, well, buy a house then, because I might be saving £1,000. The price of houses shoot up by £5,000 or £6,000. You save £1,000. False economy. Everybody is kind of happy, apart from the ones who realise in about a year's time, when all the house prices have plummeted, that it was false economy. I suspect I'll be in that boat, but you know, guy's got to live. So construction firms. So what about if you're not in the market for buying a house and you're not in the market for selling a house? In fact, you're quite happy where you are, but you've got this nagging sense of unease about the fact that all the walls look the same. You haven't got enough space. What was that? Phil and Kirsty, what about Stay or Pray or something? That TV series, Use It or Lose It. Right. So there's so many people, there's millions of people right now. I mean, if you look down any street, right, you've got boards outside every house. Every house is having their drive done. Every house is getting an extension. Every house is getting a conversion. Never been better times for construction companies. But if you're relatively new and you're trying to achieve cut through, what do you do? Well, okay. First things first, you need to show more Okay, what was it? Tell more, sell more. That was my old phrase from the days of the podcast guy. Share more, care more, that kind of thing. Video photos count, and by the way, hotels not so much unless you're a big chain. Insurance definitely. Construction firms, yes, in moderation. Live chat. I'm never going to stop singing that song because it's so important. Right, so photo and video. This applies to everybody, but specifically to construction companies, right? And it did to snowflake.com as well, which we covered in Website Rewrite not a million years ago on this channel, this show, this playlist. Videos and photos always work. And like I mentioned, top of the pyramid, right? If you can create a video, you can extract the audio to use as part of a radio ad campaign. You can extract the audio for a podcast or to share with local media. They might want to use it on their radio stations as part of a round robin. You might as well suggest it. Say, listen, how about a segment all about the cost of loft conversions is going through the roof. Just honestly, pure genius. And then you could sort of use some of the commentary from your video as your company's response to that question. Through the roof. Oh, you can tell it's Christmas. The crackers. We are. So you've got that, and then you've also got the audio or the video can be used as part of a blog post. So you could actually pull out some of the salient facts, repurpose it as a written piece, but then actually use the video if you want to see more about it. There's transcription services like Otter.ai that can pull out the audio so you can use the actual video, audio, the spoken word as the basis for that blog post. Or if you've got 5 or 6 videos, why not produce a compilation of the best bits, outtakes, bloopers? People love that sort of stuff, real life. So if you're construction, what are the benefits of changing your house, changing your life? Now, you don't have to create your own content. You can repurpose the work of others. You can get on Pinterest and pin some great examples, some very strikingly visual examples of how changing your house can change your life. You can curate content. So if you've on social media, if you're a construction firm, be more Facebook and use Facebook ads liberally. They're inexpensive. There's some great tuition out there, great courses to get you. In fact, Facebook has a set of courses called Blueprint that are free that will get you up to speed. Now, don't get me wrong, Facebook is a behemoth. It is a massive challenge. But, you know, here we are, a few days before Christmas, got a couple of weeks to spare. Why not get stuck in? If you need an agency or you need a social media expert, I can suggest one to you. Get in touch and we can try and figure something out. But go to johnloomer.com, JONLOOMER.com. Take one of his courses. This guy is on top of his game. Get to socialmediaexaminer.com, totally free blog, Michael Stelzner, and get the basics there for free. Honestly, be more Facebook, be more. Any organisation needs to humanise itself more. Every organisation needs to simplify itself more. Every organisation needs to strip back, focus on where the value is. Those 3 tenets, just to repeat again: persuasion, conviction, reassurance. Persuasion and conviction being one grouping. Reassurance, and also knowing the heck out of what your customer needs. Get those 3 things right, you're off to the races. Not been a terribly visual one today, but this was really just to kind of talk through, if you like, this theory of 2021 is going to be better because you are on top of your game now. You've got me by your side. I'm here. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter at Dave Thackeray, and soon to be at wordandmouth.com. So anything you need to know about buffing up your website, rebooting your business for 2021, kicking COVID up the arse, and showing your customer that you're there, ready to get engaged. And ultimately, this is all about content, converting customers more quickly. Been a long day. Thanks very much for spending some time with me. As I say, I'm here, so anything you need to know, if you want to expand or unpack anything that I've talked about today, at Dave Thackeray on Twitter or dave.c.thackeray@gmail.com. And as he heads towards the stop recording button, I wish you a fantastic Christmas. If I don't see you before, because we've only got a few days now and there's still some Christmas present buying to be done, then have yourself a blessed few days, and regretfully I'll be here to see you again soon. All right, happy Christmas, guys. Bye for now.